What's up, guys? It's Cody from Helpful Dreams. Thank you so much for coming by the channel today. If this is your first time here, this is where we gather all the best motivational and inspirational videos and audios of all time, and we gather them into one place so we can discuss them and just pull out the gold nuggets in order to apply them in our own lives. And we also do a lot of fun stuff like run raffles and contests. Right now we're giving away Tony Robbins tickets for a virtual event in July, and we're going to be announcing the winners to those on April 30th. You can enter that contest through the link below. And also for the people who have already entered in and said that they were cool with getting free gifts from us, I'm giving out free Think and Grow Rich books. I'm going to be mailing those out so you guys can be on the lookout. Yeah, we're just going to keep having fun. I'm going to roll two clips today. One's Napoleon Hill and one is Jim Rohn. And they both are talking about how to become financially independent, and we're just going to look at those. I'm actually going to listen along with you guys, take notes, and you'll see my notes like flash up on screen. But other than that, yeah, it's going to be like one of the video clips, and we're just going to roll it, and I hope you guys enjoy.
If you ever have financial security in this world, you've got to do two things, at least. You've got to budget your time, the use of your time, and you've got to budget your money, your expenditures and your receipts, so that you have a definite plan to go by. Now, to begin with, you have 24 hours of time. Let's take up time first. You have 24 hours divided into three 8-hour periods, 8 hours for sleep, 8 hours for work. Well, you have no control over the 8 hours for sleep. You have to give that over to nature. She demands that. And you don't have always too much control over the 8 hours that you put into work. Even though you're working for yourself, you still don't have too much control. You have to be there. But there are 8 hours that bless your lives, that's yours. You can waste it if you want to. You can play, you can work, and you can enjoy yourself, you can relax, or you can develop by taking courses of instruction, you can read, you can do anything you want to with it. And therein lies the greatest opportunity of the whole 24 hours. It used to be, back in the days when I was doing my research, I worked 16 hours a day, but it was a labor of love that I was engaged in. I reserved 8 hours a day for sleep, and the other 16 I worked. Part of the time I was working in order to make a living, training salesmen and so forth, but mostly in research, getting ready to give this philosophy to the world. And had it not been for the fact that I had at least 8 hours of free time of my own, I never could have done the necessary research. Now, in those 8 hours of spare time, you can practice developing all of those habits that you choose through the law of cosmic habit force. Now, you don't have to follow my plans, but you'll get some mighty good ideas in the lesson on applied faith, in the one on cosmic habit force, and in the one on the mastermind. Work out a plan of your own. And if it's your plan, it'll be better than if I give it to you verbatim and you just follow it. Now, the suggestions for budgeting of time, budgeting of income and expenses. First thing on your list, your monthly or weekly amount of income should be put down. Should have a regular book worked out, a budgeting book. Now, if you have a family or if you don't have a family, life insurance is a must. It's absolutely a must. You just cannot afford to be without it. If you brought children into this world to whom you are responsible for an education, it's up to you to insure yourself so that if you pass out of the picture and you don't earn any longer, they have got enough money to educate themselves with. That's just a must. And if you've married a wife that's dependent entirely upon you, it's up to you to carry enough insurance to give her a down payment on a second husband if you should pass out of the picture. But life insurance is a wonderful thing because it gives you such wonderful protection in case you are taken away from your source of production. And a family man or a man that's in business where his services are a large portion of the assets. There are men like that, in jobs or in business where a key man or key men, if taken away, would be a tremendous loss to the business. And the men like that should always carry themselves, be insured for a large sum of money, large enough to give, to fill up the chasm and be left by them if they should be taken out. So life insurance comes up at the top of the list. Then next, a definite percentage for food, clothing, and housing. Now, don't just go out and blow the works. You can go down to the grocery store and you can spend 5 times as much as you actually need if you don't have a system to go by. I do the shopping at our house, believe it or not. Annie Lou doesn't do that. I do it. That way I get what I want. But you know, I learned a great deal about shopping by following the housewives that I found out were good shoppers and asking them questions. And believe you me, they put me on to a lot of things that I didn't know about buying food, about handling food after they buy it. And so when I go over to one of those big supermarkets out in California, I always pick out the most likely housewife, and I follow along behind her and start asking her questions. You'd be surprised how cooperative they are. They just love to tell you about what you should do and what you shouldn't. Food and clothing. But now, we don't have I must say that on this one item, we don't have a budget to go by. I buy whatever my fancy strikes me. But I just happen to be in a position where a budget on food and clothing is not necessary. But there was a time when it was necessary, and I imagine in the lives of most people it is necessary to have a budget. And then a definite amount to be set aside for investment, even if it's only a small amount, if it's only $1 a week, even 50 cents a week. It's not the amount that you set aside, it's the habit of being resourceful and frugal. It's a wonderful thing to be frugal, not to waste things. And I've always admired anybody that doesn't waste things. I even like my grandfather. He used to go around picking up old nails and strings and pieces of metal, and you'd be surprised at what a collection of things he had. Now, my frugality never ran to that extent. It ran more to Rolls Royces and 600-acre estates. But believe you me, I got around at long last at learning that no matter how much of this philosophy you have, if you don't have a system for saving a part of what goes through your hands, it makes no difference how much goes through, does it? And if you don't have that system, it will go through all of it. Whatever amount remains after you have taken care of those three items should go into a current checking or spending account for emergencies, recreation, education, etc. You can draw on that. You don't have to follow your budget on that. In other words, that's a petty cash account, you might say. And if you're a real frugal, you let it get up to pretty good size. You won't keep it down too low all the time. And it's a nice thing, you know. Isn't it a wonderful thing to know that you have a good nest egg lying in the bank or in your savings account? No matter what happens, you go down there and get the money. You may not need it, and the chances are it'll put you in that frame of mind where you won't have to go down and get it if you've got it. But if you don't have it there, believe you me, you'll have 1,000 needs, and you'll be afraid in connection with all of them, won't you? That's right. I think perhaps the thing that gives me the most courage to speak my piece and to be myself and to demand that my people keep off of my toes is the fact that I no longer have to worry where my money's coming from. I just don't have to worry about that. I have no money worries. In fact, I don't have any worries at all. People try to worry me sometimes, but it's like the Confucius say, when rat tries to pull cat's whiskers, rat generally winds up in honorable cat's belly. Now, this system of trapping a little bit of a percentage that goes through your hands. It's not the amount that I'm so interested in as the fact that you're establishing a frugal savings habit. And if your wages or income is so low that you can't cut your expenses anymore, and you can only absolutely take off of the top, 1%, 1 cent out of every dollar. Take that 1 cent off and put it away in some place where it's hard for you to get at it. I'm a great believer in having money invested in the investment trusts, where they represent a great variety of well-known stocks, so that if one goes bad, why, it doesn't affect your investment at all. There are a lot of those investment trusts. Some of them are good and some of them not so good, perhaps. But if you go to invest in an investment trust, you ought to go to your banker or somebody that is acquainted. Don't try to do that on your own judgment. Individuals, as a rule, are just not qualified for doing that. But get some of your money to working for you, and you'll be surprised at what a nice game it is when you know that you're setting aside a certain amount every month or every week, and that amount is beginning to work for you. This business of trapping the money, by that I mean getting it in a place where you can't reach down in your pocket and get it. When I go to the bank, every so often to get money, pocket money. And I always take a $20 bill, no matter what amount I get, I take a $20 bill and wrap it up and put it in a little special pocket in my wallet, just in case I happen to run out of money. I'll always have $20. And believe you, the other day I needed it too. It came in very handy. Otherwise I'd have had to cash a check with somebody who didn't know me too well, and I wouldn't have liked to ask to have that done. Saving money, you know, is a very difficult thing for most people because they don't have any system to go by.
I have a very interesting subject. I call it 5 simple steps to go from average to fortune. Let me give you this simple little talk. How to go from average to fortune. There's 5 simple steps. You might like to make a note of them. Here's the first one. Get serious. That's number 1. I don't know any substitute for that. You've really got to get serious. You don't have to be grim, but you must be serious. I know a guy that's got a half a dozen jokes keeping him from becoming wealthy. He's not known as rich. He's known as a joker, which I guess is okay if that's the kind of life you want to live. But it really isn't the best way to live. To go from average to fortune, you must get serious. And you must get serious about 2 very important things. Number 1 is setting your goals and where you want to go. Designing the next 5, the next 10 years is so vitally important. What do you want to do economically? Where do you want to go? What do you want to be? What would you like to have? What would you like to share? How much would you like to earn? How far would you like to go? Those are some major questions to ask. And for that all to work out like you want it to for the next 5 or 10 years, in my personal opinion, you've got to get serious. Then you have to get serious about another important subject. And that important subject is called personal development. Personal development is striving hard to become the kind of person that you want to be. And to become the kind of person you want to be, you've got to work at it. 10 years from now, you will surely become someone. The big question is, who? What are you becoming? And if you go to work on it now, sure enough, in a very short period of time, you can take on a new direction to become the kind of person you want to be. There's a very important question to ask, and the question is, 10 years from now, you will surely arrive. And the question is, where? So to answer the question of where you want to arrive and the kind of person you want to be, you've got to get serious. So that's point number 1. To make your life worthwhile and unique, to go from average to fortune, you've got to get serious. Now, the second point is, get smart. To make your life work out worthwhile, you've got to have some ideas. You've got to have the information. So you've got to be smart. In fact, in this decade, you must be much smarter than you were in the last decade. You've got to read the books. You've got to come up with the information. When I have a chance to talk to the high school kids, that's the theme of my talk. Get smart. There's nothing worse than being stupid. And if you will read the books, learn from your experiences, do all the things that you possibly can to get the information, sure enough, you'll be wiser this year than you were last year. And I've got a few techniques that I teach in my seminar on how to get smarter, keeping a journal, going to the lectures, going to the seminars, listening to the sermons, picking up ideas from other people. You just must keep up this steady process of learning. Never cease your quest for knowledge. And that's one of the key points to go from average to fortune. Get smart. Now here's number 3. You've got to get going. All of the things that you've learned will not do you that much good if you don't put it into an action plan. You've got to get going. In my management and leadership seminar, we teach game plans, how to put all the good things that you've learned into action. Economic action, social action, personal action. How to make the changes and how to actually do the work, how to actually function. Get going, that's the key. Some people are ever learning, but they don't put it into action. They don't really take the action. It's like the man who keeps bringing materials to the building site and never builds anything. He keeps bringing in the sand and the gravel and the windows and the doors and the roofing material, and he just stacks up all these supplies, but he never builds anything. You've got to do something with what you've learned. You've got to take action. You've got to get going. So that's one of the most important things to learn, how to design your days, how to design your weeks, how to design the months so that you take the proper action to get the proper return that you're looking for, whether it's economic or personal. Get going. It's a major key. Now here's number 4. You must get excited. And not just the false enthusiasm of just pure positive thinking. You've got to get excited over some very basic things. One is, get excited over your ability to make yourself do the necessary things. Because discipline is major step 1 toward personal progress. And anytime a person wishes to, they can make major changes in their life, personally and socially and financially. It doesn't ever have to be the same after today. No telling what you could do today if you really wish to. The act of murder is a clear indication that a person in one drastic act can forever change the course of their life. It just happens to be in the negative direction. What I would ask you to do, starting today, is get excited about committing an act that's positive, an act that's constructive, to make the changes in your life that you want made, and to go the direction that you want to go. So that's number 4, get excited. Get excited about your potential. Human capacity is usually never the problem. Little children can learn several languages. We can learn to do the most incredible things. All we need to do is take the time to do it. So it's not a matter of capacity. It's a matter of judgment. It's a matter of excitement. It's a matter of will. And it's a matter of wanting to bad enough. So it's pretty exciting to know that any day you wish, you can change your life. Any day you pick out, you can make major changes. It doesn't ever have to be the same again. And that's exciting. Knowing that intellectually and personally, you can actually do the things that will make major changes in your life. That's number 4. Here's number 5. Number 5 is get away. I have found, especially in the last 15, 20 years, that there's an important thing called life balance. You've got to learn to get away. You must learn to get away and be alone. Learn to get away and reflect. Learn to get away and learn how to live as well as how to earn. How sad it would be to learn how to earn well, but not learn how to live well. You must balance your life. We teach something, especially in my staff, I teach something called lifestyle. Lifestyle is how you learn to live your life. Some people have money, but they don't even know how to spend it. They have time, but they don't know how to spend it. Some people are successful, but they don't know how to spend their success. They don't know what to do with it. They don't get joy from it. Rather, they get animosity. A father takes $5, crushes it, and throws it at his son and says, if you need it that bad, take it. Now, it's the same $5, but instead of dispensing it with joy, he dispenses it with animosity. That's the difference in not knowing how to live. It's called lifestyle. Then you've got to take time to cultivate good friends. You've got to take time to be with your family. You've got to take time to be with the people who are important to you, designing your life in those respects. Get away. Take the time. Reflect on your life. Recharge your batteries. Do some growing away from your enterprise. Then when you come back to your enterprise, after you have taken this time to balance your life, you will find that on the job, working on your enterprise, things will really go much better. So those are the 5 simple steps to go from average to fortune. Get serious, get smart, get going, get excited, and get away.